Little World of Whimsy, and today I'm here to teach you how to use the magic loop when you're knitting. The magic loop is a way to knit extremely small circumference things in the round, such as socks, sleeves of sweaters, or tops of hats. Basically anything where you can't really use your standard circular needles or whatever you're using to knit. And this method uses extremely long needles, circular needles. The ones I have here are 40 inches, and you can usually use 35 or 40, but basically, like, kind of the longer the better is the general rule. These are an alternative to using double-pointed needles, and double-pointed needles are great if you find them to be most useful to you, but this is a great method for people who don't necessarily have double-pointed needles and only have really long circular needles, or maybe just don't like using double-pointed needles. There's no real benefit to using one or the other, so it's mainly up to personal preference. A third alternative is using really small circular needles, like 8-inch circular needles, but then you'd have to get one in every single size. So there are drawbacks and benefits to using any of the three methods, but you can choose whichever one you like the best. You're going to need to cast down however many stitches that you need onto your circular needles, as you can see that I've done here. I've just cast on 40 stitches using the long tail cast on, and you can use whichever cast on that you prefer. As you can see, obviously the amount of stitches I have on my needle does not cover the entire length of the circular needles by any means, but that's okay. That's ideal actually for knitting using the magic loop. So we also haven't joined the round yet, which we're going to need to do in a second. So the first step we're going to take is I'm actually going to shimmy these stitches all the way down to the end. So I'm holding my needles next to each other and just pulling until I get to the opposite end. And I'm going to split my stitches roughly in half. So ideally I should have 20 stitches on one side and 20 on the other, but I'm not going to really count. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And I'm just going to pull the cord out on the other side so that my stitches are now split in half. And then I'm just going to push these stitches all the way down to my needles. The next step is going to join in the round, and you can check out this other video I made on how to join in the round here, but I'm just going to use my favorite method, first making sure that my stitches aren't twisted, meaning that the cast on is all along the inside of my needles. I'm just going to actually cast on one extra stitch. And then invisible join in the round. And then I'm just going to tug this nice and tight so that it doesn't come loose. So now I'm going to pull the back needle, the one with the tail hanging off it, back about halfway until there's a loop on the left, the stitches are in the middle, and the needle is on the right. And then I'm going to begin knitting in the round. So now that I've gotten to the end of the row, I'm just going to pull the loop out so that the needle that's hanging down is just going to come back up to the stitches. So after finishing working this end, I just pushed my stitches back to the front, and let's align them this way so that the back needle is the one with the working yarn is in the back, and I still have this loop on the left. And I'm just going to pull my back needle out so that I have a loop over here, a loop over here, and then I can just continue knitting in the round. So I've just finished working across the needle again. So I'm just going to pull this loop out until I get back to the starting position of the two needles lined up next to each other. And you can see the knitting starting to take shape, an extra round along the bottom. So now I'm back in my starting position with the working yarn in the back needle and the one without the working yarn in the front. And there's a loop in the back over here. So then again, I'm just going to pull out the back needle so that the one with the working yarn, and then so that I have a loop on the left and a loop on the right, and then I'm just going to continue working. And that is how to use the magic loop in knitting. And again, this is mainly helpful if you have working on something that's too small, and that you don't have specific knitting needles for that are perfect for whatever project you're working on. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.